Here's a quick rundown on Pathfinder for Atari computers. Your character can shoot in 8 directions and can shoot through almost any wall, and is powered by these little canisters, which you need to collect in order to keep yourself alive. There are 3 main types of enemies, the first of which is this phantom, which can pass through walls. The second is this bat called a mine layer, which, you guessed it, can lay mines. The most important enemy, however, is the nuke. You must kill all of the nukes to complete each stage. With each stage, the number of enemies increases, but so does the number of lives you have to kill them. You always get the same number of extra lives no matter how many times you died on the previous stage. Level 4 introduces the concept of spreading fire. Previously, the enemies that you kill would leave a fire that would stay in place, but now they have the ability to get bigger. Fires can only be destroyed by using fire pellets, which can be collected by touching one of the Fs on the screen. Nukes have their own power meter that can also be increased when they collect canisters. If a nuke has more power than you won't be able to kill it until you wear it down first. Pathfinder is a rather glitchy game. Hearing sounds like this means your game is over because you won't be able to advance the screen. As you can see here, the level is not over even though all the enemies are dead. Killing myself will just freeze the game for good. Level 7 introduces transporters, which can take you from one corner of the playing area to the other. When you use such portals, they disappear for a second, but then they come back. When you kill an enemy, it always respawns in the exact same place that you killed it, but only after you scrolled that position off of the screen. To properly manage the fire, it's a good idea to kill enemies in places where there is one of those Fs available. Level 8 is where the game really gets nasty. The phantoms and mine layers now move at double speed. In particular, the mine layers are almost impossible to kill. This scenario happens a lot on later stages. Here the nuke is so powered up that I need to shoot it a whole bunch of times just to wear it down. And there's so many canisters in the level that it's possible for the nuke to just regenerate its power rather quickly. A good strategy is to wander through the entire level collecting all the canisters before doing any fighting. Note that there's a number in the lower right corner of the screen that says how many canisters are remaining, but it's not accurate. As you might have been able to see, there are still canisters in the level, but the number is already at 0. There are 16 levels in this game from 0 to 15, but I imagine most people won't get past level 12. This is the point where the nuke becomes just as fast as the other enemies have become, which is pretty darn fast. Even worse, fire now spreads twice as fast as it once did. This is something that you can manage if you're really on top of it, but unfortunately this game has a feature called spontaneous combustion, where in this particular example, the fire started on its own in a place where nothing was killed, and I wasn't able to tell what was happening until it got out of hand. And as you can see here, this is out of hand. I mean, it looks like at first it was going to be simple, and it's just going to get bigger and keep getting bigger, and it's going to be so big that there's just no way that you can shoot it down at the speed that it's spreading. So what ends up happening is either the nuke gets all of your lives, or a fire starts that you can't control. Either way, you are a dead man. As you can see here, the fire is so big now that we can go all the way across the level, and it's all fire. The enemies are fine. You can't kill them, though, because the fire blocks your shots, and there's just no way that you can do anything. Your one chance is if you can get away from the spreading fire and do combat, which requires the enemies to cooperate. They need to be flying around the area where there's no fire in order for that to work. Unfortunately, what ends up happening with this strategy is eventually you die for running out of power or whatnot, and if your starting position is on fire, you can't appear anywhere else, and so the game is just over. Just in case level 12 wasn't tough enough for you, here's level 15. 99 nukes among all other enemies need to be killed. It's obvious the programmer never expected anyone to try to complete this. It appears to be possible to do a few things with this level. The first thing, again, you have to do is get rid of all the canisters and then wear down that first nuke. Once you get that first kill, the other nukes will at least have a much smaller power meter. From here, I've been able to put up a good fight for a while, usually trading lives 1 for 1. In the end, though, I always end up getting killed by the spontaneous spreading fire, or a mine layer that puts mines in so many places that you can't get around, or this. The screen just froze me, and this is kind of a cheap way to lose when you have 90 lives remaining, but what can you do? Anyway, that is Pathfinder. It's not necessarily a golden oldie by any means, but it's one of my childhood favorites. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you again.